Hi once again then folks, and welcome to day 2 of Special Projects pack number 3. I was planning to do this particular one, a Monte Carlo style rally build for the Renault Gordini, a bit later in the week. It's a bit of a lower profile car out of the 10, but my girlfriend loved the car. She asked me to bump it up a bit earlier, so that's why we're doing it today. This is definitely one of those builds because of the fact that rallying isn't as, at the forefront of Gran Turismo in Sport or 7. I would say this is predominantly for fun, and then if you do use it for racing, of course that's great, and you can have some extra fun with it there. There are tons of different rally liveries that you can choose from. I've gone for this particular one from this player that I'll flash up on screen. You can click the link right below to add it to your library. If you want to go for this one, I quite like what they've done, and they have represented a real version of the car, which is why I chose this particular livery. As far as the tuning, interestingly, for those who haven't tuned the Gordini before, there's really not that much that you can do with it. It's already basically rally spec, at least for its time. So we've got comfort mediums as standard, but of course I'm using it as a rally car, so we'll get to the dirt tyres in a second. Then for the club sports section, I would recommend the high lift cams. Then we've got the power restrictor, just so it's an option. The ballast, of course, again, as an option, and the dirt tyres fitted, of course. As far as the semi-race stuff, we've got the racing crank, the fully customised computer, and then the fully customised LSD. You might be wondering, why does it only have 111 horsepower? The reason for that is because I'm going from what I could find online from the real-world specs. So from what I could find, the car that ran under the number 89 in the Monte Carlo Rally had about 110 horses and actually weighed 800 kilos. Now, unfortunately, I don't know if you can win a weight loss on a spin for this car, maybe you can, but for most of us, you at least cannot buy weight loss. So we cannot make it weigh 800 kilos. Unfortunately, you probably could finagle a way to get it to 110 horses with a restrictor and a turbo, but I don't really want to be doing that. So we're giving it just that little bit of leeway at 111, and at least the 1 horsepower makes up for weighing too much at the end of the day. So as far as the racing section, we've got the racing silencer on it. I've gone for the racing brakes, because of course this is a competition vehicle. We've got the fully customised suspension. I have bought the fully customised transmission, but I opted not to fit it. Because again, I wanted it to feel more like that almost kind of laggy old school gearbox. You could go for the racing one because of course it is a rally car at the end of the day, so I'll leave that down to you. But with the 110 horsepower, you don't really need to necessarily tune the gears that much. We've got the steering angle adapter. That's mostly of course for drifting, as is the hydraulic handbrake. I like to fit both of these to my rally cars though, because it just helps maneuverability when you need it. So pretty simple as far as the tune goes. For the visuals, of course, you just slap their design on there and you'll get it immediately. Then as far as the actual tuning, it's barely over 400 points, as you could see, so you could potentially use it for some competition maybe, but like I said, it is more so just for fun. This one, kind of an homage in a tangential way to the Nissan Bluebird rally car that we used to have in Gran Turismo 6 and a couple of the other games. Really cool little car that was often overlooked. So as far as the suspension, I've got the ride height on 120mm, so a little bit lower, but nothing too crazy. Again, you do want that off-road clearance. We've got 6 on the anti-roll, 36 for compression, 44 for the expansion on the dampers, 2 for the frequency, around the mid-range point thereabouts, 1 degree of camber, 5 toe out on the front, 15 toe in on the rear. Then as far as the diff, I've opted for, I believe what it already comes with, as I recall correctly, 15, 40 and 30. If not, then of course just change it to match those. It's got a very nice handling profile though, so you really don't need to do that much to it. The transmission, as I said, is standard. You've got a 5-speed to work with. Obviously the race transmission gives you a bit more to work with, so fit it if you want to. But with the standard one, I would actually recommend using this with a manual gearbox, which I usually don't do. I'm more lazy. I like to drive in auto, but I would definitely recommend using manual with this one because you can just get more out of the gearbox. When you've only got 110 horsepower, you need to squeeze every 10th of a second out of the car that you can, and most of the time you'll be working between 4th and 5th gear, whereas if you just leave it in auto, it doesn't tend to change at the right time, and you really notice that on dirt track. Power restrictor and ECU are untouched. Of course, we haven't added any ballast. The downforce isn't applicable on this one, and as far as the rest, you can see all of the stuff there. So super simple tune, very affordable. Of course, you'll have to pick up the car first, as I recall from the Haggerty collection. So whenever that comes around, it's not a very expensive car though. So of course, all that remains is to jump out on a dirt track and then I can actually show you what the car's like in practice. Like I said, I cannot stress it enough, this is not one of those builds that I've done which is intended to destroy everything. I don't think many of you would expect it to be, but this is very much so what I would call one of my charm-based builds. It's one of those cars that's just designed to try it out just for the fun of driving. Just to experience something that's a change of pace. You know, just this charming little old school rally car, like a time capsule of a machine. It's not designed to beat, you know, the Scudo and stuff like that. If you are looking for more that kind of thing, you should probably check out the first and second packs that I did with the Porsche 911 rally car and last time the Stratos rally car, because both of those actually are legitimately quick. This one's just about the fun factor. So if you do decide to use it, I hope you have a ton of fun with it. It's a very cute little car and a lot of fun to drive. And of course, beyond that, stick around for the rest of the week for the other builds. Check out the ones I've already done, of course, yesterday as well. And for now, that's it. So I'll see you next time. And for now, as always, thanks for watching.